Pleasure's
Well,
all
I'm
mine.
Kelly Kearney with Sorry Constellation Magazine and fans. With me today is Scottish actor, producer, and writer, triple threat, from the new film crime thriller Damaged, Gianni Capaldi. Thanks for talking with me today. This is
Absolutely.
quite the killer twist of a film.
Yes, yes. Like we like to keep you on your toes.
Absolutely. Damage follows the series of gruesome murders committed by a serial killer in both Chicago and Scotland. Hollywood seems to really love the serial killer genre because the fans are always so hungry for it. Why are films like this, serial killer films, always so popular, you think? What is it about them that fascinates us and makes us want to go with that ride?
Well, first off, they're timeless. Like serial killers have been around since Jack the Ripper and way beyond that. And it's just I don't know. I think the first one that was kind of enamored was like Silence of the Lambs, and then we went. We had Seven and Zodiac, Bone Collector. These are I love the genre, so for me, Damage was great, and I just think it just never goes out of fashion. And as long as you kind of get kept on your toes and you never really know, as soon as you get comfortable, you want the audience to go, whoa, 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 what just happened? And it always makes me think of like Game of Thrones in that episode of the Red Wedding. So that's the kind of thing you want in a movie. So I just think Damage kind of ticks those boxes.
It absolutely does. I was wondering how long you worked on the script. You worked with two other writers. Am I right with that? And how
Yeah,
long did you work on it before you sold it to the project to Lionsgate, Grindstone Entertainment?
yeah. I think it took a few months to be honest with you, but yeah, it was when I had that idea, and once you have an idea, you kind of run with it, and then you just keep improving it.
But
I guess it's like a
yeah.
it's you can like a piece of art. You just keep touching it and touching. You try and make it better all the time.
With your idea, did it come from inspired by maybe a real life crime or something that caught your eye that kind of stuck in your brain and the creativity flew from there?
Yeah, there was always, I kind of did a lot of research and whatnot, and it's funny because without giving things away, that we played it with who was the actual, you know, murderer.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but we played with it a lot and how to develop twists and turns in it. But no, it took a few months. It's not something you do in a week. Put it
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. In the film, you play DCI Boyd, opposite Samuel L. Jackson, who plays a Chicago cop, Dan Lawson. Having co-wrote the script, was Boyd your first choice in playing? Was that the character that you saw yourself when you were writing in his shoes?
No, you never really do that. But I actually also like the character of McGregor, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
But it kind of made a lot of sense once with a chat with the cast director and the director, and there was a lot of sense in that because Boyd is this was this vulnerability within him as a character, having lost his kid. It's not a spoiler, having lost his kid, and then obviously whatever tragic events happened throughout the story. And I felt that the vulnerability was something that I could definitely bring to the table, and Boyd's quite a nice cat. He's a nice, he's a nice character. There's a scene when the phone rings and he's with Sam and he's like, oh, sorry about this, and he's on the phone and oh, wife. But so yeah, I just thought that it kind of started to take shape and mold that way, and I just think um, Vincent was excellent as Vincent Cassell was excellent as Walker Bravo, and because it just the whole thing was it was an eclectic. You had to have something true gritty coming out of Scotland, and
Yeah.
that would make it different because if it was any other actor we see all the time stuck in it Boyd as Boyd, then it would kind of lose that grittiness to having the character of Scotland within the dialogue, the Scottish dialogue, the visuals, everything. So it kind of made a lot of sense. So to be
Visually, I thought it did a great job painting this kind of darker picture. I think Scotland was the perfect backdrop for that. I loved watching you run through the streets and everything. Let's talk about Marie, Boyd's wife. You were talking a little bit about their past, and it's kind of a tortured past between the two. There's lots of undercurrent of emotions that are are popping out everywhere. And the I was wondering if you did a chemistry read with actress Laura Haddock to make sure, that those emotions fit well together, because I thought you two delivered those scenes, those more intense scenes, really well together.
Yeah, you know what? I had a bit of life experience with that kind of thing, without going into it. But so, I, it's one of those things that there is no right or wrong answer, and how you portray it. But I thought with Laura, she, she came across and she was very, I don't know, that she did a really good job. We didn't actually have a chemistry thing prior to the casting. Um, she came up from London, and the director had ultimate faith in her that she would, with her talent, she would deliver. And she did. And the chemistry between the two of them, obviously there's a progressiveness there to try and get over the grief. And yeah, and eventually it did. But
Be quiet. We don't want to spoil
yeah.
anything, but we do have to talk about your other co-star. We can't not talk about veteran actor and F-bomb legend Samuel L. Jackson. What was it about his acting methods or scene partnership or maybe even on-set energy that surprised you as soon as you started working with him?
Oh, what? I don't know how he's just so charismatic. He's the most charismatic guy I probably worked with. He's just an absolute heavy hitting legend, honestly. And he's got, as I said, he's got the heart of a lion. He really does. And I was looking for him when he flew into Scotland. Sam Jackson, worked with Sam Jackson, and I don't really, you don't ever get starstruck, but he's an absolute, and then they'll expect so much for you. So um, he walks in, he's just got this presence, he's got charisma, he's so nice, he talks to everybody, he's an absolute gentleman, And funny thing was, my wife, she used to work with his PR, his publicist in LA. So, the first day when I went to meet him, I was like, I said, Amanda, just come with us, just come with us, And she's like, oh, you're a big boy, just go yourself. And I'm like, no, you come. So she came, and walking up right enough, the first thing he does is go, oh, Amanda, what are you doing here? And she goes, oh, I'm married to, and you go, this guy, oh, you're married, oh, okay, come on in, And then that was like the
Oh, that's lovely.
ultimate perfect rendezvous and meeting, first time. But yeah, he's just got so much talent, and walks in, and he's got his predestined vision on how he sees the scene play out. So you've got to be yourself, and you bring your own element, and then you meet in the middle somewhere, and you try and create some magic. But he's fantastic, absolute gem to work with.
It's wonderful to have a scene partner who's so generous and on the ball, knows the character. A
Yeah.
veteran that's probably makes filming easier for everyone on set. Speaking of filming, let's discuss filming those physical scenes. I really love the chase. Well, I love both chase scenes, but the on foot chase scene that was followed by the drone. One, I thought that was a brilliant idea. I'm surprised police don't use that method. And two, you were running so much. So how many takes did that scene take? And were you exhausted as you were running through the streets? Because you were running uphill, downhill,
I
everywhere.
know. So I'm going to link into a wee secret. So before you turn up and say you have a body double run for you and that, and then so I got there and I started running, and they couldn't use any footage from the double because he was running too slow. So I was running too fast. So they never used anything from that. So everyone knew it was me running. But I ran a lot that day, But thankfully, I'm kind of fit, so I didn't get too tired. But yeah, uphill, downhill, over walls, jumping walls, all that stuff. But that was a intense running. And John Hanna runs like half marathons, so he had no problem. He was just sauntering away, enjoying it. I was and it was quite warm that day too as well. So, but I did a lot of running that day, up and down, and then they're like, oh my god, he's running so fast. I remember him here. The son said, oh, he's running so fast. We can't use any of the footage from before. And I says, don't worry. I says, I'll just keep running, just keep filming me running.
Just
Anyway,
edited it. The same thing, same question, I guess, about the toward the end of the film, there was a really intense car chase scene, and it went from kind of a more rural area into the city, and it was all over the place. How much input did the actors have in that, or was it mostly done by stunt doubles and you guys filmed on green screen?
no, are you talking about in the forest, or are you talking about
In the car chase scene toward the end of the
Archie's?
film, yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it was done by the actors, but obviously, the intense stuff is left to the professionals. I'm good to drive down to the supermarket, pick up some milk and bread for you, but I'm not. I can't weave it in and out of traffic and crash into things.
I thought it was it kept my heart beating at that towards the end. I was and it just kind of went on and on. And I love looking at the background scenery as you were going, as the cars were going through the streets, and I was like gripped on to the end of that scene. And same thing with the chasing through the streets. I guess we have to talk about scenes you're most proud of as a producer, a writer, and star of the film. You were a part of this from the beginning, from the first thought bubble. Is there a scene particularly that you accomplished in that film that you thought that's the scene that's going on my reel? That's the one I'm most proud of.
Uh, it's just there's just so many different ones. I wouldn't even know where to start. You know, um, they're just there's there's a scene with Vincent. The morning after whatever something happens.
Hmm.
Um, and there was it's a subtleness, and then they start off in a cafe, then they go down to a park and look in the stream without giving stuff away. But that whole the the transgression between going from you know um, sadness to an anger, it's just Vincent was just all he was really good as well. I know we spoke about Sam, but Vincent was just he's just it's in his DNA. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So we have to talk. I guess there's a twist that I'm not going to mention, but nobody's going to see coming probably. But it leaves the film on a cliffhanger. Is there any chance for a sequel? Will we see DC Boyd on the hunt, continuing his hunt in a future film, possibly?
um, I I definitely think there could be. This is going to be it's going to come down to if we can make things work. Um, but yeah, it's definitely an open book at the end.
Are you working on any other projects right now?
Yeah, I just finished shooting a western in October, November in Montana. I was up there for a couple of months.
Hmm.
Luckily, it was with Sam again, Sam Jackson
Oh,
again. Yeah, but Pierce Brosnan thrown into the mix as well. Who I have to say, I think I was adopted into his family because he's absolute gem of a man as well, and gentlemen who've remained really good friends. But yeah, I got to work with Sam again and Pierce in a western called Unholy Trinity.
that's very nice. What do you have any release date or any idea when that might be released? Fans can look out
I
for it.
I haven't even I just had I've not I don't know much about it. Where I just know it's being edited, currently edited in Australia. That's all I know. With uh, I think the editor's Christopher Nolan's editor, Will Smith. I heard so. No, Lee Smith. Sorry, not Will Smith. That would be a triple threat from him as well. No, but yeah, no, it's a good one. It's a good western. And then
Well,
we'll
this
let.
is kind of great because fans can kind of see you and Samuel in this film and get a little taste of that and then move to Montana for the Western. I love that. Maybe you'll do a three-peat. Maybe you'll do another
Well, there's
film
number two
together,
without three, so I always
like
believe there's number two without
a
three.
buddy
I guess I'll
film or
see Sam
something.
again. Yeah, I'll never see Sam. I'm sure I'll see Sam again. That's it.
Absolutely.